said, don't freak out about all the stuff that's happening, all the earth changes and all these things that are happening, because we have these events that happen. I said, because earth changes have always happened. I said, look at the Grand Canyon. That didn't just appear. That's happened over time. We weren't there to witness it, but nonetheless it happened, didn't it? And so all these things that are happening, some are man-made, and I'll give you an example of when Mama Pele said, okay, then the volcano erupted, Kilauea, and Mama Pele was on the march, and people were freaking out, and they're like, oh my God, look what's happening, this volcano, all that lava, and homes were being burned, and all this. The Native Hawaiian people were just like, okay, so what, And so all these people that had vacation homes and things, and they were all like, oh my God, our house, and they said, but we're there during ceremony, and we're thanking her. And we're there saying, thank you for the time that you let us live here in this beautiful place. And we're grateful for that. And so whatever you need to do to take care of yourself, we're in support. Thank you, Mama. She went around schools, she went around hospitals, but she didn't touch certain areas. Her lava flow diverted and went different places. And the people in Hawaii, the Native Hawaiian people, knew that, and they were trying to get people, just calm down. She's rebuilding. Do you see the new beaches that are coming? Do you see the new shoreline? She's creating herself again, and she's creating new things. She showered peridot, which is a beautiful little green stone, birthstone for August, and part of the volcanic eruption. She just showered one of the beaches with peridot. All this beautiful green sparkling energy that she put out there. She's constantly gifting as we perceive that she's taking something, she's giving something. She's reordering her own self and protecting herself. Part of what I do is ceremony at the Patuxent River is my home base. I live in Virginia, but the Patuxent River keeper, Fred Tubman, is like a close brother to me. And so I've chosen that river, and she's chosen me, and I do ceremony every full moon, and on the equinox and the solstice we do ceremony there. So I was watching, I was there, Ais and I went and stayed for 5 days at the river, and just to get away and be with her. And I went down on the dock, and I was talking and doing some, offerings to her, and I was just like, I'm so grateful that you're here. I'm so grateful that you're holding this space for us, and that you keep moving and you keep flowing and you keep sending your waters to nourish the folks that live inside of you, and the people where the water comes up out of you and goes into the air and then water someplace else. And how just her ability to, as I watched, at one point of the day she was going this way. Come back out a couple hours later, the river's flowing that way. And I'm like, okay, how do you do that? She said, I'm not steadfast in anything. I can flow however I need to flow to get it done. And that's what she does. And then later, I went out again, and I was doing some prayers, and I was talking to her and asking her, what to do with, I want to help Fred build up that river, and I'll talk to you about that later. But I was asking her, I said, what is it that I can do? And she said, just keep praying. Just keep praying. Your prayers, every time you pray, those prayers go with me wherever I go, whatever it touches. Those prayers go up in the air and they water everything else. The trees are picking up those prayers, and they're sending it through their roots, and the whole earth is hearing those prayers. Their branches, when the wind comes and sings the songs of your prayers, and the birds. And she said, everything is interconnected, so don't worry about it. And then the whole river lit up with light. It looked just like somebody sprinkled diamonds all over the river. And that happens quite frequently when we're doing prayers there, and it's her sign to tell us, I'm listening, I'm with you. She's not any different than I am. She's no different than you are. No water is, and that's a very important thing, that water is a very feminine, energetic, and everybody has water. Everybody on the planet has water, and we're mostly made of water. And so think about the fact that this water outside of us is not a foreign body. It's part of us. It's however we treat that and how it magnifies itself in us. when we're talking about time, just does that sometimes probably freak me out, but then by the time I left, I was, there on the fifth day, and I went down and I'm standing at the top of the hill. I'll show you some pictures of it. And there's a dock that goes down, and there's a side dock here, and then a floating dock here, and people use that to go out and kayak or fish or whatever. And I wake up and I'm looking outside expecting to see what I always see, and it's like the river has receded. It's receded so far down that now this side dock is laying flat in the mud. The other dock is raised up. The water level has dropped, and now it's not even sitting in water anymore. And I'm looking across the river where the marsh landed, and there's all this exposed earth, and where the offspring nests are, there's all this whole strip, and even further. And then looking next door at the houses there, and where the river was just the day before, lapping all the way up at the shoreline, all of that is exposed mud flats. And I'm thinking, okay, what the heck is going on here? So Fred, the river keeper, came home, and I said, okay, what's Mother trying to, what's she doing? I don't get it. Why is all of this happened? And he said, he's been a river keeper there for 15 or more years, and he said, this is the second time I've seen this. He said, but what the physics is that the water temperature in the river has gotten so cold that she withdraws and pulls herself in. And when it gets warm enough, she'll go back and spread back out again. And so I was like, oh, okay, that's what it is. And then I was in the car on the way home, and she's like, that is not what it is. That's the physics of it. She said, I told you, I do what I need to do when I need to do it. I've pulled myself in as a sign to you, go inward. You need to pull in, get yourself tight, get yourself right, get yourself in a space of pulling yourself in, pulling your energy in. Stop. I'm addicted to YouTube and Chinese and Japanese, Korean series that I just spend endless hours watching these things. And she's like, stop scattering your energy. You got things to do. Stop scattering your energy everywhere else. Pull yourself in, daughter. Pull yourself in. Get tight with yourself. Be responsible and know that the core of what you need to feed, that's what you're supposed to be focusing on, and stop putting yourself out everywhere else and all this other stuff. And I'm like, okay, point taken, got it. When we're doing ceremony, we recognize the fact that the water in the river and the water in our bodies are one and the same. So whatever prayers we offer to the river, we're receiving that within ourselves, because the water within us is vibrating at the same level as that river when those prayers are being said. So all of the healing that you're offering to that river, you're receiving that as well. And so be very intentional when you're drinking your water. I see people got bottles of water open. Hold that water before you drink it. When you get it, hold it. Take the top off of it. Put your mouth to it and thank it. Bless it. Tell it just how awesome it is, and how loving and how healing it is, and what an honor it is to mix that water with your water, and how you mix your love and your prayer to that water, and hold it and ask it, I need some healing, so can I have that water come in to me and help me to rebalance what's in me? And I thank you for that, and I give gratitude to you for that, and I love you for that. And really just put your whole heart into the water, put it in the sunlight. There are people that, that now are taking, and you can, I think, buy bottles of water that have things like I love you on it, or, healing, or whatever the vibration is. Whatever you want to drink into yourself, whatever you want that water to feel and to absorb, and it's changing its DNA as you do those things, as you speak loving kindness to that. Dr. Emoto did, I don't know if you all know who that is, he's a Japanese scientist, and he did this whole thing where he took water and he did an experiment by, and I'm just shortening it, some water he spoke into it, and he said very ugly, harsh things to the water. Other water he spoke words of love and healing and gratitude into that water. And then through a process of, I don't remember if he froze it or however he did it, he looked under a microscope at it. The water that he spoke harsh things to instead of good words and things to looked like muddy, dish-shapen, misshapen crystals. The water that he said loving things and gratitude to was sparkling, like you would see snowflakes or imagine snowflakes. There were these beautiful, beautiful patterns of water, because the water receives what you say. And you have to be aware that it's not just the water, it's the air, it's the wind, it's everything, the trees, everything around you. When you say things, it's not just you saying it and absorbs it into you, it's going out into the whole universe. It's going out into everything. I tell people when they're like, oh, I just hate the rain. Why does it have to rain today? I'm wanting to go do this, and I just hate it when it rains. And I said, yeah, and so now what you're telling the rain is, and your ingratitude is, I don't need you. You're not a part of me. I don't love you. I don't care about you. I said, you keep saying that, and then when you come into a drought situation and you're begging and praying for that rain to come, why isn't it showing up? Because you've already told it. You're not needed, you're not loved, you're not wanted. Everything we say has cause and effect. When you go out and you touch a tree and you put your hands on that tree and you give that tree the love and the gratitude, and you say, I see you. That spirit in that tree says, I see you too. And you have that exchange and you offer it gifts. Give it some water, but give it your love and your prayers, because trees have so much knowledge. And when you're meditating and you're learning about meditation and going into yourself, when that's part of what the divine feminine is too, is recognizing that our connection to plants, to the earth, to the water, to the trees is so phenomenal that when you put your arms and you're around a tree and you hug it and you are in earnest saying, I love you, you're a part of me and I'm part of you, that tree will start to respond to you. I go into the woods a lot and I do prayers in the woods, and I go in there and I sing and I, dance and walk around and meddle with them sometimes, and they throw things at me, but it's that kind of relationship that is so exciting to be able to build. Soft place of love and receiving and asking, they give you right back. I never take without giving back. I always take water or something that I would go pull those awful vines down that are killing the trees and pulling the trees down. That's right. And so, you see? And that's the beauty of how nature, how she'll show us examples of. And I'm always asking, and that's the thing. If you don't ask, she'll tell you anyway. You might not see it if you're not asking. And we should ask all the time. Every day when you get up and pray, and if you don't, you should be. And I'm not saying pray in any way except what feels right to you. However, I honor everybody's path. I don't feel like there's one path to anything. There's so many, just like nature is diverse and the planets and the star systems, we don't even know. There's not one created thing. There's many paths through this cosmic thing, and Mother welcomes everybody and everything, and that's what she keeps saying. Do you think I created one thing? Look at how many species that you don't even know of that I've created, and how those species are just phenomenal when you look at them, and how she's like, and I don't give more to one of my children, and that's talking about trees, that's talking about plants, that's talking about us and animals. She said, I don't give more to, because humans think they're on the top of this thing, and we have dominion over everything. Wrong. We do not. This is all her creation, all her babies, all her loving energy goes into everything. The way that she communicates with water, the way she communicates with birds and trees and plants, and the way they communicate with each other. They communicate with each other as siblings. And if you watch how birds, trees host birds and squirrels and other things, and how they nest in them, and how they lovingly make themselves available for these things, they're not, I'm a tree, therefore, you can't, it's like, you need a home, here I am. Trees are the most welcoming, loving, supportive beings that are on this planet. I really believe that. And different ones like the pine, who is just, if you're ever having a bad day and you just need some support and you feel anxious about something, find yourself a pine tree. Just go put your arms around it, put your back against it, put your head against it, and say, I'm here, I need help, thank you, I love you, can you give me, I'm here and I need your help. It will support you. It really will. Or plants, and you just say, I need help out there, somebody, this is what's wrong, I need, some support here, somebody help me, who's willing to support me. You watch. If you communicate in that way, and you communicate solidly and in earnest with the universal flow and those energetics, there'll be a plant that will catch your eye, and that'll be the exact one you need. And it may be that, you think, why is that nettle there? That's not supposed to grow there. It grew there because you needed it at that time, and you called it in, and it's willing to help you. But I love it when I teach the course and we go out on Walk the Earth, and I say, okay, Mother, we're coming out. And I teach people, I teach them how to feel through their hands, how to feel through their feet, how to try to get that connected vibration of the earth, and then I take them walking. We walk through woods and different places, and I say, okay, so don't be so fixated on, I don't hear anything calling me. I said, because it doesn't always call you that way. It could just be, I just noticed that rock, so I'm going to go over there. I said, if that's what you notice, go spend time with it and see what it wants to tell you, or that tree, or whatever it is. I said, and you might get called by several different things, but don't be so, where you block yourself is when you become so expectant and you put this pressure on yourself that I'm going to feel something, how am I not feeling anything? But what I want you to do is to now just take your hands and just start to rub them like this.